Hi everybody. I apparently have a lot of new people checking out my social media accounts, and they want a better explanation of what is going on. And it's a long story, so it's completely expected that people would be confused right now. I can't take very good care of myself, so I apologize for my hair not being washed. Uh, I'm I've been stressed for a number of years, and just crazy amounts of stress. And I have the early stage symptoms of multiple sclerosis, so I'm slowly uh, moving into a state of semi paralysis. Uh, so, doing anything that takes physical energy is kind of difficult now. Um, I do a lot of research. Pretty much all of my waking hours, I do research. A lot of people are finding me through Witchtagram and uh, the book recommendations that I've done on there. Uh, I've been a practicing Wiccan since the year 2000. Um, I've got a lot of experience. Uh, Read a lot of books. But what's been going on more recently is in the year 2016, I had a CIA interrogation, and that's where it starts getting into really complicated things. The CIA agent, he's a really high-ranking psychologist in the CIA. He is my uncle, and I'm kind of his personal MK Ultra victim. And I've been learning ever since then about what's really been going on in the CIA. And it's kind of terrifying. They really don't teach us very much in history class. So there's a number of different operations that I recommend looking up. Operation Paperclip was when the CIA hired at over 1,000 Nazi scientists after World War II. Some sources say over 1,500 Nazi scientists, and they were hired because of their experience in human experimentation. And this has mostly been ignored by pretty much everyone. And so when Donald Trump talks about the deep state, it's this legacy of the Nazis in the CIA, and it's really bad news. There's a lot going on, but at the same time, there's good news, and I'll get to that. But there's a lot going on that's kind of the legacy of the CIA hiring those Nazis, and then the Cold War, where Russia was investigating the Nazis that the U.S. was protecting, and the CIA started engaging in a bunch of things here in the United States that are absolutely not acceptable. MK Ultra is a CIA operation The most famous version of it involved CIA agents dosing people with LSD at bars, and then they would convince those people that they had been abducted by aliens. Um, but that's not the only version of MK Ultra. There was a lot of different types of psyops and learning what they could do to with mind control, and that includes neurotechnology, which we're just starting to talk about neurotech now with Elon Musk's Neuralink, but the technology has been around for many decades. We have declassified files from the CIA talking about their experiments in the 1970s, at the very least. And there's reason to believe that the studies into neurotechnology started during the Victorian era, when they started when they wrote stories like Frankenstein and Reanimator. And let's see. So neurotechnology has been around for a long time. It is way more sophisticated and well developed than they tell you about. The chips that Elon is showing off right now actually resemble the old Utah array chips, which he has criticized in the past. The version of Neuralink that I have, that I received during the interrogation in 2016, was neural lace, and that was injected, so I didn't need surgery at all. And it's intense technology. So that's MK Ultra. There's the CIA has been known for poisoning kids, poisoning ecosystems. I've seen things about chemtrails, but I think that's kind of a red herring. I think that maybe people should pay more attention to Agent Orange, which was a poison that was delivered in that form, through basically chemtrails, crop dusting. Horrible stuff. Monsanto. Horrible company. They're responsible for a whole bunch of stuff. I think that the family that raised me owns that company. And that's part of where we get into my personal story of the complications in my life, that have made me so stressed that I'm just deteriorating. Anyway, I mentioned that my uncle is a very high-ranking CIA agent, Travis Bradbury. He's only 7 years older than me, so he thinks of me more as one of his half-siblings, who a whole bunch of them are the same age as me. Ron Howard, the director from Hollywood, is their biological father. Prince Harry is the most famous of the siblings. Yeah, Prince Charles didn't have that redhead. Let's see. So, there have been a lot of really disturbing CIA operations, and a lot of them I think have taken place in a secret laboratory under East Rosebud Lake in Montana. You can see on Google Maps. You can see through the water down to the lab, and there's like two sections that are two different rectangles that are visible, one layered on top of another. Um, and that entire area, I think there's an inland sea underground that goes between a whole bunch of lakes in that area. I think it's a an old lava tube that has turned into a bunch of lakes and an inland sea. Um, so the experiments done in that laboratory uh, are pretty horrible. I mean, we're talking every bit as bad as Nazi Germany. And so I've been trying to get the UN to intervene. Been trying to get President Biden to do something, but they're not doing. I don't even know if Biden's aware of what's going on. Um, Trump knows. Like I said, he's referred to this group as the deep state. Um, I don't trust Trump. I think that I'm not sure who to trust in terms of presidents. I think that overall, Biden is a better president, but I'm concerned about, like I said, I'm not even sure if he knows what's going on with all this stuff. Uh, Because I mean, the CIA, you know, they decide what they tell the president, so it's um. So there's a graphic on my Instagram page that has a bunch of different CIA operations that you can look up. Uh, they're all declassified, or in one case, there's nothing that's declassified from the government, but there are reports from reputable uh, news sources in the 90s. I think it was CBS was the report that I saw, and CBS is the most conservative of those news networks: NBC, ABC, CBS. Um, but but they're pretty mainstream. But anyway, everything else, like you can find files on government websites that admit that they did these things in those CIA operations. Uh, MK Naomi was biological warfare. Um, uh, I've seen footage of some really horrible stuff. CIA experiment that was absolutely horrific. It was black and white footage. My contacts hacked into my phone and showed a few seconds of this video and then it disappeared and it was gone before I managed to take a screenshot. Um, but it was some scientists trying to uh, these people move, um, make them walk. And these two people had been surgically, uh, their faces had been removed and their brains fused face to face. The band Susie and the Banshees wrote a song about that has open source intelligence about this. It's called Face to Face. Very James Bond uh, tango. Uh, um, and let's see, a lot of I'm technically an international free agent. The I didn't sign up for this. I got recruited by United States and international um, organizations. MI6 is uh, they're the British equivalent of uh, the CIA. Um, they provide a lot of information for me. Um, and from the British side, actually, there's a lot going on there. I mentioned Travis, the CIA agent, and his father, Ron Howard, whose son is Prince Harry, and from there we get Harry Potter. Um, J.K. Rowling did not uh, write those books. J.K. is just kidding. Rowling comes from rolling on the floor laughing, which at the time that the first Harry Potter book came out, those were the major acronyms being used on the internet. It was a brand new thing with these chat rooms and everything going on at that point, and emoticons were new. Uh, anyway, Travis is a ghostwriter, and he writes for lots and lots of different things. He writes music, a lot, almost all of the major hits on the radio uh, involve Travis collaborating with them. So he's very involved. So he works for the CIA. He also works for MI6 with Prince Harry, his brother, half brother. Um, and and to Travis, my uncle, I am her my own niece, Hermione. Uh, so anyway, and I'm a real life witch, and so that apparently is one of the reasons that people are checking out my my social media right now is that I study a lot of things like the paranormal, and uh, I've been studying Wicca very in depth for a very long time. Um, I've been to dozens of fire circles and festivals, and Sabbath celebrations and I've worked with I've worked with Buddhist and Hindu meditation gurus. Um, I've I've worked really hard to study as much as I could. I've probably got a world record in how much time I've spent reading in my life. Uh, and I have invented many things. I own the patent for the internet, of all things. Um, there was a big deal during the 90s actually with Al Gore claiming that he invented the internet, and no, it was not Al Gore. And I've heard so many people over the years being like, Al Gore didn't invent the internet. And no, it was me. I was 7 years old, and I was being shown a kiosk that they were saying was the communication of the future. And it really resembled a uh, Zoom call, but that's not what was going on. What was going on was they were using a satellite broadcast in the same way that they do like news broadcasts on TV, uh, and so it was working that way. And but I didn't understand that. I thought it was a computer plugged into a phone line, and I asked what kind of plug it had, and if because it's because I wanted one in my bedroom, and it was like I don't have a phone line in my bedroom. um. Anyway, so anyway, that was in 1991. Uh, and you can ask Ron Howard about that. Um, there's a lot of history that has been censored in my hometown, and the Moss Mansion Museum, where I worked for years, uh, uh, was part of the inspiration for Ron Howard's probably his most famous one of his most famous films anyway, the Da Vinci Code. Um, there's a lot of history that has been censored in that place. I used to work there as a tour guide. The story that I was taught back then, it's clearly wrong. I've learned so much more since then that it's like they tried to tell us that these people who built this house were Christian scientists, but there's no Christian symbolism in that house. There are stars of David. There are oh gosh, I can't think of it. What the eight pointed star is called off the top of my head right now. Um, uh, but eight pointed stars, and that could be either Islamic or Hindu, and they were right next to the Buddhist wheel, um, and a Ramadan lantern. So it's like they've got every symbol in that house. They've got Prometheus. I thought he was holding a caduceus at first when I was looking at pictures, um, trying to see the detail. But it's not Hermes Trismegistus like I thought it was. He's holding a torch with Prometheus. Um, and I think that fireplace leads to a secret passage. There are two fireplaces on the first floor. I think secret passages. There's a bookcase. There's a a place in the kitchen, in the pantry, and then under the stairs. I'm still trying to figure out how to get into the chamber under the stairs. Um, I'm not sure if it's through the dining room or the pantry, or it's been so long since I've been there. But anyway, I get headaches. I'm so sorry that I can't always keep my focus. Um, so I guess I'm uh there's a lot of stuff I guess I that I kind of rant about on my page that um is not really relevant to most people. It's important that I have to post it because this is the only way that I'm able to interact with the legal system is through through my social media, and otherwise there's like an arbitration system and I'm not even allowed into the room for arbitration, and there are people abusing Nixon era pardons to allow them to get away with crime forever, and that's not how the Constitution designed the pardon to work. So we're at the point of being forced into civil war here in the United States, um, because the family that raised me is literally going across the country and just killing people, and they're doing it by going they're hacking people online and knocking on doors, and I don't even know how else, but it's it's just awful. uh, Elon Musk has talked about how these people want to depopulate the planet, and it's not just a hypothetical thing. They're trying, and so everybody needs to know what's going on. I'm so freaking stressed that I can't shower and avoid showering maybe because places the showers can be converted into gas chambers. So it's really really fucking terrifying. We need the UN to intervene. We really really need help. So anyway, that's my story in a little less than half an hour. Um Hopefully this answers a lot of questions.